The user registration settings is where you'll enable which information you need to capture from your individual users when they create an account. So I'm going to come in here and select the Edit Registration Settings, and I'll overview what these settings do. Now the first one we've already taken a look at in a previous video, and that's the registration fee. So you can turn on and off the registration fee here. Remember, in order to set up the fee, that's done under Pricing and Publishing Setup Fees. So I'm going to turn this off for now while I'm doing a demo. Now you can see this next section has some non-optional required fields, meaning that everyone who creates an account on your call page has to enter their first and last name and an email address, because that's where they'll receive all the notifications for their entries. These next section of settings are all optional. Note it does say optional required fields, meaning they're optional for you, but not for the users. If you go ahead and select these first three options and come down here and press update, your users will have to provide the company bio and phone number. They can't leave those fields blank. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like for the actual users. You can see here I'm on the calls home page, and this is what a regular user would see when they come to your site. So the first thing they would do is click the register button and fill out those details. And note that it gives me my first name, all those default details, and now I have the company, biography, and phone number, which I enabled. If I try to create an account without filling out those settings, they'll get prompts that tell them those fields are required. Each time they try to create the field, they are required to submit that information. All right, I've switched back here to the back end of the site, and I'm going to show you those additional settings called custom registration settings. Now, we've added quite a few categories that are really common for all users: address information, contact information, etc. But many times you'll need to capture additional pieces of information that we don't have built into the system. And for that, you can use custom registration fields. You can add up to 10 registration fields for your users. Now, an example of this may be something as simple as, let's say, a member number. So I'm just going to maybe it's a student ID number or a member organization number. So I'll just say student ID number. And then down here in the additional details, I'm going to make this just a regular old text field, and I'm going to give a hint. I'm going to say enter your student number, and I'm going to require that they fill this field out. With custom registration fields, you can actually leave them optional or not by checking the required button. Now I'll come down here and say update. Now I've just added the one single field, and you can see it shows up here, and I'm going to switch back over to show you what it now looks like for your user. Back here on the user page, I'm going to go ahead and refresh. I'm on the register page. When I refresh, you'll notice now that student ID number shows up where they can enter in a number, and if they hover over this, it will show that little hint that tells them what they're supposed to place inside of this field. All right, I'll show you how a few of those advanced fields work, and then we'll be done with this video. Back on the edit registration page, let's go ahead and look up at a few of these advanced field types. So I'm just going to start off, and I'll go ahead and let's say maybe I want to have my users do a shirt size. So I'm going to say this is the shirt size, and under field type, this one's going to be a radio button. So for the hint, I'm going to say choose your size, and for these values, they're just comma separated. So I'll say XL, large, medium, small. All right, let's go ahead and add another one. This one, maybe I'm going to say describe something. And let's go ahead and make this one a text area. So this is kind of a bigger box here. I'll require this. This one down here, I'll say drop down. And for the field type, I'll choose this as a drop down. Let's call it text area. Whoops, not a text area, a select menu. And for the values, I'll just say 1, 2, 3. And let's go ahead and now update this page. So I'll update this page, and we'll switch over and see what that looks like now for the user. Right, I'm back here on the user registration page. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page so we can see those changes we made be populated here. And you can see now, here's my radio. So the users would have to select which shirt size. They can describe something here, and here's the drop-down menu for those options as well. So you can do check boxes, select areas, drop-downs, and many other advanced field types, all within those submission settings, or rather those custom registration settings in your call. All right, the last thing we want to mention here is that in the user registration settings, all of the custom bits of data, if you're going to add those custom user registration fields, they should be information about the user, not the work or the entries they're submitting. So you wouldn't want to have, for example, describe your process or your sale price or details that are about the actual artwork. This is information about the person or the individual.